on this week, April 13th through the 19th. It was very windy. 3 days of the week. It was wet. Didn't do a lot of bee work. I don't have sheltered yards for the direction that the wind was blowing. I did start to grade my hives, and I scraped boxes. So I brought home the dead oats, and I still have boxes to scrape. I have another pallet plus what's behind me. So I added up my losses. Last year, going into September, after not having a nectar flow all summer, the hives started to swarm. Of course, we're getting ready for winter and we're taking off our honey supers. And the nectar flow just came out of nowhere. It was a very good aster flow. I ended up leaving my honey supers on late, but they were foundations. The bees still backfilled heavily and backfilled the brood nest and put honey in the honey supers, drew comb, and some swarm. I ended up calling 7% of my hives from swarming, late supersedure, not requeening. November, I was doing oxalic acid, and queens were just starting to lay again after swarming in September, mating. The new virgin mated and started to lay in November, so that was great. That led to a lot of hungry hives this spring, late brooding, and drone layers this spring. 16% dead, coming right out of winter. And from our very cold spring, wet, snowy, there was a lot of dwindle. Our pollen flow was right on time. However, the weather wasn't there for the bees to fly. Typically, our first pollen is the first week of April from alder. And that was right on time. March, we thought it was going to be an early spring. And then when April came, it just was winter again. So I lost 4% to 5% from dwindle. So I'm at, just to recap, 7% last fall. That's not the usual summer losses. That was summer losses an additional 7%. 16% just opened up, was dead. 4% from dwindle, and still dwindling is another 9 to 10%. However, what forecast looks promising, and I see what I call weak is 3 frames of bees and brood. They're not a loss. I'll just turn those into nukes, prop them up a little bit, give them a new queen if the queen's not viable, and that's our nuke sales, or I keep them to expand myself. The bees are brooding good. I will manage to expand this year, not like last year. Last year was the best year I ever had for growth, healthy bees. I doubled my honey crop. Everything was perfect last year. A little too perfect. Swarming in September on a huge nectar flow bigger than your summer flow, that's that's a good thing, but that's a bad thing So the bees wintered on a lot of goldenrod honey and aster honey, and some people argue that is bad for the bees. And I've seen a lot of diarrhea, dysentery on the boxes. I ordered a microscope. I'm going to look for nosema. I don't treat for nosema, but I think I will start next spring. Just we'll see how my samples are when I get my microscope. Update on the packages. I lost 3 queens. So I guess packages can have nosema, and that will cause queen supersedure. And that's what started my research on nosema. I'm still a new beekeeper. I still have a lot to learn. Like this is my first time with packages. So I got to start looking into that. I don't know why I lost those 3 queens. It was right on the first nice day that the bees could fly. First time those packages could fly. And there was drifting that day. So there could have been some robbing, drifting. Could have been that nosema. I'll know when I get my microscope. So it wasn't much bee work, but I got a little video. I had to fix those packages, and I think I started to open feed, but bees didn't really touch the open feed. A maple flow is every second year, and this is the year for the maple flow, and the trees look fabulous. The maple syrup season, I think, was an excellent season here. Trees are in great shape. We had a good winter for it. There was no ice storm, so the buds weren't broke off from an ice storm. But we missed that pollen, the alder pollen, poplar pollen, and then winter set back in, and that delayed the willow. So the bees have been living on supplements. You pull a frame out, there's no pollen whatsoever in the comb. So the bees, they're in desperate need of a real pollen flow. This year I special ordered my patties from Global, and I paid extra for 25% pollen. I just thought I'd try it. It costs more, but oh well. What's 2 or 3 nukes? You know, it's not a lot of money. They're asking for more pollen. And I think I'm kind of glad I did, because there's been no real pollen coming in, so I guess that all worked out. So I guess I'll run the video now. It wasn't a very exciting week. Next week, building some equipment. It'll be more open feeding if we can get the bees, because the bees would be interested in the real stuff. Usually I feed protein and then switch to carbohydrates, and even if the bees are getting natural forage, I still try to stimulate them with some 1-to-1 open syrup, because they'll forage through the day, but cooler in the afternoon they will stop foraging and go to the feeders, just I guess trying to get as much as they can. And then 1st of May, queens come, and lots of splits. What's alive is strong, other than that 10% weeks. So we're not going to split the 60-65% that we did last year, but it's still going to be okay. It's Wednesday, April 16th. It's a beautiful day here finally. Wind's blowing very hard. My choices are limited to where I do work because of the wind. This is the packages, and I wrapped them with insulation just like I do my nukes to keep them warm. For it's still cold every night. This is 3 inches of foam board on top. This rim just gives something for the lid to set on. And then I have some foamy inside because the surfaces are uneven, which helps stop the airflow and insulate better. I don't have to unwrap it because I'm only queen checking, but I'll pull the sleeve off and show you. It just slides right off. Foam box. I winter my nukes this way. I can wrap 100 nukes in 20 minutes. So that's why I do it this way. So, boom, boom. It's real quick. I'll leave it off for the video. So all I'm doing is queen checking. Queen's out of the cage. There's a bee in there. I don't think it's her. No. They're consuming a little bit of the patty. That's their pollen frame I gave them. I see eggs, so usually when I see eggs, oh, there's queen right there. What I was saying is when I see eggs, I usually stop doing an inspection. So pull another frame just to see how ambitious she is. Oh, this is all eggs. This whole frame's eggs. Not this side. Nothing there. There's eggs, so technically I'm done. This side's all eggs. So we'll check the next frame over, see how well she's doing. Really, once you see eggs, you're all done. There she is right there. They're really easy to see, that blue dot. Actually, that's a cap that's glued on her. That's not a dot of paint. That's a cap. This here has a very well fed larvae. That's awesome. This side's all eggs. This one's doing really well. Nothing on this one. And eggs on this side. That's really good. I checked everybody else. This is a pallet I started on just before I left you. This is the only queenless one, And then there's one that lost its population, so it's the queen's there, but it's not laying. So I went to my nuke yard and I got a small queen rate nuke, and I brought a frame of brood with 2 shakes of bees on it. The wind's blowing really hard today, so I'm gonna have fun doing this. Tear a little slit. Light your hive tool. Hopefully there's some propolis. They're definitely queenless. You can probably hear them. This is my 3-framer queen rate nuke. Wonder which way they're situated here. That's the way they go. And just lay that up there like that. They already have a palm patty mite strip, so I won't need that one. This is fixing over there, just putting up a light. And I'm diluting some 2-to-1. 1-to-1. I'm gonna start open feeding. You think, Fingan? We just put a... I just put a new roof on the garage. Why? How's it going? Do you have the wires hooked up?
Yeah.
No. Like, did you seriously tug on... Did you tug on the wires? Like, to make sure? Well... Yeah, make sure it's good and secure. What's wrong, Amber? I asked her if she had the wires tight. You guys heard me. My syrup pump is 11 years old, and every once in a while when I bring it out of storage, I develop a drip in here. What you do is you take this off the pump, throw it in a bucket of water, wash the thick dried syrup out of it, and this is a spring-loaded seal, and it has turned on those 3 indents. It's turned and stuck down, and that's the leak. So you wash the thick syrup out of this, turn the seal back so it can move freely, and then add Vaseline and put it back together. Throw some Ultra Bee in there so the bees can find it. That's just 1-to-1 sugar syrup. I did some emergency feeding here, and I did that with 2-to-1, and the rest will get the open feeder for some stimulation.